Hi guys. A lot of questions that I get with regards to the Nasdaq index, right, is based around the news. People usually ask, Vindi, where can we get the news for Nasdaq, or which sites can we actually use to get the news for Nasdaq? Unfortunately, with regards to Nasdaq, because we're dealing with a bunch of companies that are listed within the Nasdaq stock exchange, we are not gonna have something that is as direct as this, as you look at the economic calendar right here, right? However, there is a season for earnings where basically earning seasons, if I was to explain this, it's basically a period of time which these companies that are publicly traded, right, they release their quarterly earnings or quarterly earnings report, right? So this is when now we can see if companies like Apple have done well or not. Okay, so some of the sites, or rather the sites that I use, it's the finviz.com, which is this particular one, finviz.com. You can see the URL. This is actually what I use. This might not be user friendly for those who are new, but if you've traded the stocks or you've been investing in the stock market before, this is going to make more sense, and you should at least be familiar with this particular website right here. There is a lot of parameters rather that are here. The normal economic calendar, this section down here, let me see if I can get my pen nicely. This particular section is basically the normal economic calendar, same as the one that you get in the Forex Factory calendar there, right? So, but I want to bring your attention to something. You might have heard me talking about the quarterly earnings report. So if you look right here, there is another section that is showing earnings release, right? So today is the 29th. So there's B and there's A. So the B, it's before the market open. A, it's after the market open. So there are reports that are released just before the market opens, right? And there are reports that are released after the market have actually closed. All right, like Facebook today, it's going to actually release some of its earnings report. All right, and also the QCOM that's also going to release that. So this is some of the news that are going to, these are the some of the news that are going to affect the movement of Nasdaq, because remember, earnings are basically telling us how these companies are doing or how these companies have been doing. If you look at this, you can see there, these are some of the biggest companies. Your Facebook are there. These are some of the companies that are listed in, most of these are listed in the Nasdaq stock exchange. So if you want to look at this in detail, you can go to where it says screener there. Okay, so here you have a whole bunch of parameters. Once more, this is not something that you can look at like now and say, oh, I know how Facebook is doing as far as this. Of course, this is gonna make sense to those who trade a lot of stocks. So if you come here to all, you can see usually it's gonna be very short here under descriptive. So if you come here to all, this is where this whole thing is gonna actually expand. So you can see there's a lot of parameters. You need to understand most of these things, right? Especially when you are interested in investing in stocks or shares, stuff like that, right? This is very, 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 very important. But this is gonna look like it's rocket for those who just wanna look at the news to say, oh, today there's earnings, today just something like this, right? So, but I will show you how you can reduce that information into something that will look like what you are used to, right? But you need to understand and you need to know companies that you are looking for, or companies that are listed in the Nasdaq stock exchange. Just not to talk too much here. I'm going to change this to Nasdaq, obviously. All right, so you can see the number of companies here, they've been reduced. And then obviously you need to change the sector. So most of the companies, they are communications, they deal with communications, and you also look at your technology, non-financial companies, right? So if I click on communications, you can see these are companies that deals with communications of some sort. And then I'm going to dial down here to USA because I don't want stuff you can see in countries, reports coming from China, Israel, and all other whole bunch of countries. Just select the USA, right? So obviously you can see now countries showing this. There is a lot of parameters. One of the great indicators of obviously the PE ratio, which is a bit more not too direct. It's not a direct indicator to use as far as these things are concerned, or as far as stocks are concerned, right? There is a whole bunch, like I've said, you need to familiarize. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna dive today. I'm not gonna dive into looking at this whole table right here. If you'd like me to look at this individually, do a more detailed video, let me know in the comment. Just type, please do part 2 of the Nasdaq news. Please do part 2 of the Nasdaq news, and don't forget to hit a like button if you like this kind of content. Okay, to continue, so obviously I'm gonna move this by sector. Okay, so you can see if it's communication, there's a whole bunch of sectors under that, right? But what I want to pay attention to mostly is this particular guy, earnings date, where it says earnings date, because you need to dial everything down or reduce everything down into something that you can use tomorrow, today, or when. So if I look at today, obviously this is before market open. It's going to show me according to what I've selected. Bear in mind what I've selected this for Nasdaq and that. But if you just go for any, it's gonna show another company, right? Because I've specified that for Nasdaq year under exchange. If I come down to year, change this to technology, obviously you can see some of the companies that were actually releasing their earnings report before the market open. So if you come here and say after the market close, you can see some of the companies. Now these have expanded. Qualcomm as well, it's going to be releasing after. So these are some of this is how you actually get to see which companies are going to be releasing this. These are quarterly earnings. So we are now in the earnings season. Obviously, this is going to become handy. So we could see some sort of weird moves in the Nasdaq. But remember, what I want you guys to understand is that price at the end of the day is the best indicator, or it's that one thing that is most likely to be reliable, right? But just to be aware that there are news like earnings reports, this is something that you can actually move. So if I move to tomorrow, right? So tomorrow you can see Apple, which is the biggest deal. It's going to release its earnings. So if you click here under AAPL, that's for Apple, that's a ticker code for Apple. So if you come down there, you can see that tomorrow they're gonna be releasing their earnings report after the market close. This AMC stands for after the market close. So there's a whole bunch of other parameters, a whole bunch of other details here as far as how Apple is doing, right? So alternatively, there is another site that you can use, which is this marketwatch.com. So if I come here, let me see if I can move Apple. So ticker symbol, obviously it's AAPL for that, and the search. And then I click on this one, can see US AAPL US Nasdaq, that's Apple there. So if I click on this particular thing, this is going to give me, this is another site that you can use as well to look at the news. This is marketwatch.com. Okay, so if I come down to financials to look at how this guys are doing, so we have the income statement there, we have the balance sheet and the cash flow statement. Those who went to school, this is where school might come in a little bit handy. And there are those people who are watching this video and thinking, this is boring information. Unfortunately, guys, for some of these things, you need to know a little bit about this. You don't have to be ignorant. I know a lot of traders who are gonna say, no, you don't have to know these things. The fact is, you need to work hard in order to move that thing nicely. This is not a quick way to get rich. I have to say this. Remember, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear or sell you dreams or whatever the case might be. You need to work hard. This is not an easy thing to do, right? This is not an easy thing to do. You need to work hard, you need to be disciplined. So if you are interested, make sure that you pay attention, look at some of these things, try to figure out. Don't just sit there and wait for someone to tell you stuff. The thing is, there are those people who are comfortable with Vindi telling them stuff instead of them going out to see if they can try to find information. There's a whole bunch of other cool YouTube channels here that you can check information from, right? There's a whole bunch of other YouTube channels. You don't necessarily have to join anyone's course or Vindi's course and all those things. I am saying it myself that you don't necessarily have to join Vindi's course. But if you have to join, if you feel like, no, I like what this guy is teaching, I like how he actually presents most of the information, well, feel free. But you don't actually have to join, right? I'm not gonna come out and blackmail people and say, hey, you will die because of the journey, you will remain the same, or all those things. Try to blackmail people emotionally so to get them to buy your course and all. It doesn't make sense. You can't be insulting people trying to convince them to buy your things. It doesn't make sense, guys. Take it from me, there's a whole bunch of other information that you can use online. You just have to dig the right information. Okay, there's a lot of information, some complete crap. You just have to dig the right information, right? You don't have to be lured into buying courses, expensive courses and all that. Do what you have to do if you feel like doing it. So you can look at how Apple is doing, the balance sheet and all the changes, like I was saying, whole bunch of other things, analyst estimates, all these things. Insiders, these sites are going to give you a whole bunch of information, and this information can also paralyze you. At the end of the day, like I've said, what you're going to have, it's actually this, the charts, right? This is what you're actually gonna have. So this is the USA 100. This is the Nasdaq. At the end of the day, this is what you have. You have what you've seen on these sites needs to reflect on the charts. Okay, whatever projections that you are looking for needs to reflect on the charts. At the end of the day, that's what you're gonna have. You're not gonna go in on speculations and all that. At the end of the day, it's your money. You're gonna see fire. The commandment of this house is thou shalt bend. So I wanted to share with you some of these sites. So obviously you can look at how these guys are doing as far as their financial activities are concerned and all those kind of things. So if this is something that you're interested in, do check out the sites. There's a whole bunch of other parameters. Like I've said, I'm not going to dive into all these things, but for those who've been trading stocks for some time, they will be familiar with most of this. There's a whole bunch of other news, as you can see. Okay, there's a whole bunch of other news you can see. There's that one, Apple reports earnings on Thursday. So there's just a lot that is going to be taking place, and we're most likely to see some crazy gaps because this is going to be reported after, right? Like I've said, after the market close. So we're going to see some heavy moves on Nasdaq and on Apple and Amazon and all these companies that are going to be releasing their earnings. Like I said, you can scale down this particular Shandis, just go to all, just to repeat that. You can check the exchange. If you are looking at the New York Stock Exchange, you can check that as well, right? So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. You can say any, if that's your thing. If you're looking at technology, that's your thing. You can dial down to country. If you're looking at other countries, right? There is a whole bunch. If you're looking at South Africa, there's a whole bunch. Monaco, all these countries, right? You can do that. Look at individual companies. This is cool for investors and for those who are interested in buying shares. But of course, you need to look at the value. So valuation, there's a whole bunch of parameters into valuing these companies. As you can see, your PE, forward PE, your PEG there, all this kind of stuff. You need to be able to understand this. Like I said, I'm not going to dive into this. So I just wanted to more fast and show you some of the things that you can actually use to more these things. I hope this site will be useful. Just familiarize yourself with a whole bunch of things. All right. So this is actually where you get this news. So if you go back there, so if I wanted to see the earnings that are going to be released tomorrow, I'll just click here on tomorrow in USA. There you can see some of the companies that are going to be releasing. Of course, you need to be familiar with some of these companies that are listed in the Nasdaq 100. Okay, some of these companies in the Nasdaq stock exchange. So be familiarize yourself with this from the back of your head, then you're good to go. There's a whole bunch of other indicators. Of course, at the end of the day, like I said, these things needs to actually show in our charts. So yeah, pattern, you can look at others that are sitting on this stuff. It will show you which instruments are actually in the channel up strong, and also there's a whole bunch of other things. Just work around this. This might be helpful for those who are hard workers and those who are eager to learn new things. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to show you some of the things that I do. Otherwise, if you like this content, do not hesitate to more it. Even if you are from outside South Africa, more that like button, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let me know if you'd like me to do another part where I look at the Nasdaq news in detail. Okay, otherwise, did I leave out something? I might have, because this is not scripted. I'm just showing you everything from the back of my head. Might have left out some important information, but otherwise, if I have, I will actually do another video or probably do a live session. Do feel free to actually join us on Telegram. There's a link in the description box. That's where I share most of the information or some other information that do not make it to YouTube. So do make sure to join that channel. The link is here in the description. If you have a question, the link that will direct you to my WhatsApp is also in the description. Just tap on that link, and then you will be there. You will be there on Vindy's WhatsApp. All right, don't just say hello, don't just say hello, a whole bunch of weird things. Just get straight to the point. I'm who from where this is what Tony. Just get straight to the point. If you just say hello, obviously I might not respond to that, because I get a lot of hellos in a day. Otherwise, without sounding weird and without continuing with this shandy, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video with your friends. Otherwise, sharp.